Tools and skills needed for success for learning JavaScript. First, we'll talk about software, and then we'll talk a little bit about hardware. The first thing you're going to need in order to work with JavaScript and write JavaScript is a good code editor. And I recommend using Visual Studio Code, not to be confused with the Visual Studio product, but Visual Studio Code. And I have that in this browser tab here. And you can download that for the Mac or for Windows, or I believe also for Linux. You can get Visual Studio Code. And it's a really good code editor. It's very popular these days. There are plenty of other code editors out there. You could use Atom. You could use Sublime Text. Even if you have Dreamweaver, you could use that as a code editor. Dreamweaver has a lot of other stuff built into it that you don't need, but it works perfectly fine as a code editor if you want to use that as well. The second thing you're going to need is a web browser. And I'm going to recommend that you use Chrome. Chrome has a lot of the developer tools that developers use. They're built right into Chrome and they're easy to access. You could also use Safari or Firefox or Microsoft Edge, or Brave is another browser out there. And there are other browsers out there as well. And many of them also have developer tools. But most developers use Chrome and get comfortable with the Chrome developer tools. So I recommend that you download Chrome and use that browser. You're also going to need an image editor. And if you have access to Photoshop, that's great. Photoshop is fantastic for this kind of thing. But if you don't have access to Photoshop, there's another one called GIMP, which is free. And you can go download GIMP, and I have that pulled up here. So you can actually download GIMP for Mac or for Windows and that kind of stuff. There are also online tools, web pages that will allow you to upload your image and optimize it for the web and do some different kinds of image editing right through your browser. So you might find some of those types of tools as well. But you will need some sort of image editor to help you with working with images. That's kind of a nice to have. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's really kind of nice to have. Next, you're going to need a computer and internet access. It may sound obvious that you're going to need internet access to do an internet class, but you are going to need that, and you will need a computer, whether it's a laptop or a desktop. What's not going to work very well is either a Chromebook or a tablet or a phone. You're really going to need something that you can write code on and save files to. And iOS is not, you can make it work, but it's not really up to the task. You'll be fighting it every step along the way. So you want to be working with Mac OS X or Windows 10 on a computer in order to really make this work.